There are three models of Kluger: GX, GXL and Grande, and this one, the black edition, is a special edition of the mid-range GXL. For that you get quite a lot for your money. I'd really prefer the Grande, if I'm being perfectly honest. I do like these black 19-inch wheels. From this angle, Kluger looks slightly mean, and this black edition with its black on black with just a touch of black, I think looks really, really good. Although black cars in Australian climate, especially in 45-degree days, I'm not quite sure. But there are a few things that tell this car's age. For example, the headlights. The headlights, they're halogen, but there are daytime running lights that are LED. And if you look down close, you can see the little individual cells. The Toyota badge on this rather plain Jane grille, but it is in black and it's slightly metallicized, has the solid Toyota emblem front and center, and that is where the radar is for the radar guided cruise control. But I think the back is a little bit more successful. It's still not too much to frighten off the punters, but there's a smart set of LED taillights which I think look great. Now, because I've got the key in my pocket, this thing has smart locking and unlocking. I'll show you the front doors in a minute. But you open it by pressing the little rubber button in the back. But the really clever thing is Kluger has a bit of a party trick. There's a button, a very discreet button right here by the Toyota badge. If you press that, the hatch opens up and you can just put little things in here like, you know, shopping bags and what have you. Because I've got the key in my pocket, I can just walk up to almost any Toyota now and put my hand in and the doors unlock. To lock it, you just touch these grooves along the top and the car locks again. Best thing is it won't lock if the key's in the car, it won't lock if the headlights are on. The best part is no longer will you come back to a car with a battery flatter than a cricketer's excuse for a dodgy ball. The back has enough room in it, even with the third row of seats deployed. It goes down in a 60-40 split. You can have one lot up if you want, and enough room for long things in the back, or you can pull the other one up like so, and then adjust the backrest by pulling the tab. There's still plenty of room here for your groceries and bits and bobs. And in the back, there's a convenient light, and on the other side, a spot for a couple of bags. Getting in the back seat though can be well dodgy. You pull the lever here or one behind the seat, and it tumbles forward like so. Then you can try and contort yourself to get into the back. It's not very easy. And then, and with me in the back, I've got almost no leg room. You're not totally without comforts. The third row seat do have cup holders either side. Release this from the back seat and you can extricate yourself without looking like a ham. But with the back seats in their normal position, you can adjust the pitch of the seat back so that you can get a comfortable ride, and you sit very high up, very far above the front seat passengers. The best part is, look how much space there is between me and the seat in front. So that means this seat could come forward at least half of that space to give the third row a little bit more space. That's actually a fairly usable space for a shorter person. In the back there's also another row of climate controls for the third zone, and a little bit of a tray at the bottom, maybe for a small mobile phone. There's some more cup holders in the centre armrest, and the seats are leather imported with black on black with just a touch of black. The doors have plenty of bins, you'd fit a bottle in that, but the coverings are quite hard. I mean, there's a bit of give in that, but it doesn't feel quite up to 2019 quality. There are some mat pockets in each seat. However, the front row is really where you want to be. This is the most comfortable seat, and it's the ones with heating. The front doors have a large bin with a bottle holder and the ubiquitous window and mirror controls. There's the stop-start button, which usually goes with that easy entry system outside. And the dashboard has a multi-function display where you can have fuel consumption and lane warnings and so forth. Steering wheel buttons, a typical Toyota fare. This one controls the center LCD. This one controls the audio, voice control and phone. The asymmetric dashboard does my head in, but there is this large tray which goes right through to the other side of the cabin. And it's got these little plastic bits to stop your mobile phone from sliding around. There's 2 of the 3 zones for the climate controls, which importantly can be synced, and the 8-inch display with fixed buttons down either side. This car does have DAB for digital audio broadcasts, but no Apple CarPlay as yet. The center console houses the gear shifter, a couple of cup holders, some 4-wheel drive controls, including snow and traction control off, and the seat heating. There's also this nifty center bin, which is unbelievably deep. Look, I can fit my whole arm in there. And it's got a little tray that slides over to keep things at a more reachable level. I like Kluger a lot. I didn't expect to, but I did. But there's 2 things that really annoy me. One is just near the driver's footrest is the foot-operated parking brake. And the other is this hideous clot from God knows what era. It looks like they went to JB Hi-Fi and picked up something on sale. The thing that really surprised me about Kluger was when I got it out on the road, it came to life. The 19-inch wheels look sensational, and for a change it doesn't actually ruin the ride. Steering is speed sensitive, and what that means is at high speed it toughens up, it gets a little bit more feel, although with electric steering all feel is simulated. And the reason for that is that a computer is driving the steering wheel, not a hydraulic pump. Sitting in the driver's seat, you sit very high. It's like you're on a throne, as you are in most SUVs. And everything is easily accessible. You can see that I can reach everything without having to go too far out of my seat. In city traffic like we're in now, Kluger does feel quite big, but it's still very, very maneuverable because the steering is so light. When you put it into reverse, a large reversing camera comes up, which gives you predictive lines. Now the good thing about that is it lets you park the car precisely. So despite the size, you can still get into a relatively small space very, very easily. Now we're on the move. It's so quiet in here. I mean, it's really, really quiet. As new cars come out and existing models are refreshed, they're putting in things like Toyota Safety Sense, which gives this car active power steering, which means that the steering centers you in the lane. It also gives you active cruise control, so the solid badge at the front keeps an eye on the distance of the car in front, and if you've got it set to 80, the car is doing all this itself. The other thing that Safety Sense gives you is autonomous emergency braking, one of the things that you now need to get 5 stars. Kluger is 5-star, but of course it's a 5-star rating that is now 5 years old. And just a quick note on the ANCAP rating system. What is ANCAP? The Australian New Car Assessment Program. And they crash test cars at $1 million a pop plus 5 cars to destruction. They kill them all. And at the end of that, they give the car a oversimplified rating between 1 and 5 stars. 5-star being the safest. And that rating tells the buyer how safe their car is at a glance. One thing that is very odd is that because there is no diesel option, you only get this one V6 petrol engine. And that petrol engine has 218 kilowatts and 350 newton meters of torque. One of the things that was improved in this car in its 2017 midlife update was the fact that it got an 8-speed automatic transmission in place of the somewhat old-fashioned 6-speed automatic. And that really improves your fuel consumption. There's a pleasing little 6-cylinder growl. It's been made more efficient, not only by that 8-speed automatic, but the fact that it now has direct injection, so the fuel's directly put into each cylinder at the top. It makes the engine smoother, the burn more efficient, and it gives you lots of extra oomph. One thing you didn't see then, and that's another part of Toyota's safety sense, is this car also has blind spot monitoring. A quick word on the navigation. It looks a little bit primitive. The maps are quite slow and it's very chunky. It looks slightly old-fashioned. As we go around these corners, by the way, the suspension, though it's quite soft, still feels very connected to the road in a strange sort of way. It's not an actual sports car, but of course it's not meant to be. I was driving down the highway the other day and I was wondering who this car actually appeals to. Well, I think it appeals to anybody that wants to carry around a bunch of people. And if you don't have a family, maybe you're the designated driver and you want to ferry around a few extra people. The driving position is so comfortable that you could take your family or a couple of friends on a road trip. Fuel consumption, of course, in a petrol engine on a road trip, you're still not likely to get better than 8 kilometres per 100 litres or thereabouts. A lot of people think that driving a car this big around town means that it's awkward and ungainly, and it just isn't. We might have friends that we want to carry around. What about our in-laws? What about little kids? Some of us do actually have kids, remember. I would have liked to have seen some kind of diesel engine in it for people that want to do a lot of long distance travel. Nonetheless, it gets reasonable fuel consumption for a V6. Remember, it's quite an old engine even though it's been updated. The 8-speed auto is absolutely spectacular. It is a ZF and that's ubiquitous. Lots of brands use ZF. As always, hit the little round dot to subscribe.